You're obsessed with Karina Kaboom.
What's wrong with Karina Kaboom? She's a nice lady.
You're kidding, right?
What are you doing out here?
Oh, people are taking this as a Kermit. No, it is a Kermit by the very definition. It is a Kermit.
Is this video for sailing and entertainment purposes only? You're dang skippy it is.
What advice would you give Amber's future girlfriend? Simple. Just don't go there.
What? Excuse me, sir. Are you trying to do a corn mukbang?
Hello everybody. In today's video, we're taking a look at part 2 of Beck's live stream that was for members only. Okay, this is the second part of it. I only got to the first part. So basically, Beck is going to respond to a lot of things about Amber stealing mom's money, what Amber said in the members only live stream about the money, stealing Beck's mom's money, and also a lot of other very interesting things. Like, for example, Beck is going to discuss how Amber's friends and roommates and even Beck's own family didn't want to take money from Amber because she would hold it over their head. But there's also something very interesting. There's going to be a discussion about waffle and stomping. And I wanted to reference, before we go any further, a screenshot from, this is, I believe, from Amber's Snapchat. And this screenshot is from OrkoTV. His channel will be linked down below. Definitely go check out, subscribe as always. Anyone I link down below, please check them out and subscribe as always. And Beck's channel will be linked down below as well, so go ahead and subscribe to them as well. Here's the screenshot from Amber's Snapchat a bunch of years ago. Ask me anything, says Amber. Are you ever going to address the rumor that you in Eric and Rickie's shower floor? Amber says, anytime I had an accident, I made sure it was cleaned up and always paid for by a plumber if necessary. Why didn't Amber say in this Ask Me Anything Snapchat Q&A, I never did that in Eric and Rickie's shower on the floor, never did that. She actually said that she did have multiple accidents and it was cleaned up and always paid for by a plumber if necessary. There's her admission that she did do this multiple times in Eric's shower and Rickie and Eric's shower and floor, which is just terrible. Beck will talk about this in the video and they will say how they think it's not right and that, like, why would anybody be friends with you after you did that? Here's the thing. I understand that people can have accidents, but they need to have accidents in their own bathrooms, not in their roommates. And there's actually no reason to do this, okay? You could have just been in your own lavatory. That wiping for 9 months must have been something. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to get into all the drama. I just wanted to show you this first because I wanted to show you that she definitely admitted to doing this. This is not a rumor. All right. So, you know who was surprised by this? Not my Kermit. Have you ever wanted to purchase a Kermit? Well, now you can in my game show host voice. So look, the Kermits that live with me, they're all into the drama, the gossip. So if you want to buy one of your own, this is my affiliate link to do so. Let me know when he ships for you so I could be excited for you. Obviously, everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Please don't take anything I say seriously. I am sharing my own opinions, not facts, about publicly accessible information first made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only.
Interesting. I'm finding out all kinds of things I didn't know today, like the person she was talking to between me and Destiny. Had no idea.
As I've always said, Amberlynn is always talking to numerous women at once. This is because it's kind of for the same reason as why she won't go on dating sites and on dating apps, because she doesn't want to be rejected. So realistically, if you're talking to, let's say, 10 people and 7 of them reject you, this is not a math channel. Whatever amount of people you have left are the people that you can, continue to talk to. She is always talking to other women behind the scenes. And this next part is an opinion, not a fact, like all my statements. My opinion is she talks to women behind the scenes while in relationships, and she labels them friends and supporters. And then as soon as the relationship breaks up, she immediately runs to them and starts a relationship with them, or starts to try to talk to them in a romantic way. I'm 100 on this. It's my opinion.
That's going to be great. Can't wait to talk to you guys about that. Did she shower? You know what? I heard somebody say that she admitted to poop shower and then waffle stomping it down the drain. And I have such a hard time believing that. Because first off, did she really admit that? Because I don't see her admitting that.
I
I think I saw it in an Orko video.
And second of all, if she really did do that, that is nasty, disgusting. And if it was in Eric and Rickie's bath or shower, if they are still friends with her, I hope they... Or why do you think Wifey is the only ex Amber didn't trash publicly? Love you. I really don't know, and I'm surprised that she didn't.
So Amber did trash Wifey on TikTok, saying that Wifey did all of these certain things to her, but never saying what they were. I think that Amberlynn is very much so aware of pretty much what everybody is capable of, and that's why she trashes some people and doesn't others. I think that Wifey is incredibly intelligent and is capable of responding. That's what I'm talking about here. Wifey is capable of responding to Amberlynn in numerous ways, isn't she? Ambi, can I call you Pookie? And I think that Amber's just scared. I think that it's not just that she knows too much, but she knows what could happen. Wifey will respond.
Maybe she knows too much.
Maybe. Rose says Jade is married. Is Jade married?
Oh, and some people said that she did drop shade Jade's way.
Of course she did. She did
Yeah.
trash Wifey. Of course she did. Why did Eric and Rickie stay friends with idea, honestly? I think it might have been because we stopped talking and maybe she somehow got under their skin and pulled them back with some manipulative tactic.
Amber, in my opinion, would be friends with anybody, no matter what they did to those around her or to herself. Either way, she even said that she forgives easily, whatever. The bottom line is, for example, if I stopped doing YouTube videos on her and wanted to befriend her, she'd be friends with me. She'd be friends with a Kermit. She'd be friends with anybody because she just needs somebody to leech emotional affection from. She just needs somebody to talk to all day long when she doesn't have a girlfriend. That's my opinion.
That's probably exactly what happened. Who knows? I know. Somebody said Jade is married, ? I have no idea.
All right. Well, I didn't say this right away, but now it's time to say this. So this is not about Amber. I just wanted to say something about this topic. Trust me, you'll see why it's not about Amber in a minute. Okay. This is just my opinion, and it's not always this way. It could go either way, and that's the point. So people always get devastated when they want their ex back and the ex gets married. And I promise you that I am not going to be the first person to say this on the internet. And definitely people have thought about this before. A lot of people have trouble and may not want to say this, which is understandable, especially in the public arena. I don't have such problems. Okay. Don't be sad if your ex gets married. They'll probably end up really miserable in their marriage and probably come back to you anyways. That's a possibility. That may not be true, okay? They may end up in a long and healthy and amazing marriage. But we all know, it's not about Amber. It's not about anybody that she dated. This is just a general statement to everybody's that's secretly, they're not going to say it publicly. They're secretly devastated that their ex got married or it hurts you. First of all, you need to take your energy back from whoever got married and you're upset about it, or whoever's in a relationship and you're upset about it. Because if you're not the one that they wanted to be with and they didn't want to offer you a relationship and I'm going to go on a tangent, and they didn't want to marry you, they've already explained to you how they feel about you. So pull back your energy and be like, bye, who are you? But always keep in mind, for those people that are obsessed and in love with their exes, at least in the United States of America, more than half of the marriages that, people get into fail. And that is a reality of marriage. Now, there's another reality of marriage that there are some and I want to make this clear, very, very, very happy marriages out there, and everything's amazing and everything's great and it all works out. There's so many people who've been married their whole life and they're really genuinely happy. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the idea that people just always just lose it and are just so upset and devastated when their favorite ex gets married. I'll never see them again. Maybe not, but there is another option. There is another possibility. You should be taking away your energy from worrying about them and moving on to the next one. Okay, on to the next one. But just in case you were wondering, because nobody is really going to say this a lot online, because this is supposed to be a little bit, maybe it's a little toxic to say, but I like to represent all sides. Look, more than likely, once they get into that marriage and the honeymoon period is gonna, end, and I'm not saying they're gonna get a divorce. Some people like to, stay together forever miserable. It depends on what you wish for your ex. Maybe that's even better for them. Sorry, the evil frog made me say that. My point here is this. a lot of the times when your ex gets married, it's not forever. That is my point. And nobody on the internet, no self-help person is out here telling you that. So don't worry about it. Take your energy, put it into yourself, okay? Put it into yourself, your career, your health, your whatever you want to do. And all that time that you spend thinking about your ex, think about yourself and how you can better yourself in your life. But since I know you're still a little obsessed with it, I'm here to tell you that a lot of marriages fail. So if you're that despondent and that desperate to see your ex later, don't worry, their marriage might fail, it might not. Let's move on.
Her recent purchases from Teddy Fresh and expensive Lego sets while owing Beck $6K. Yeah, really, Teddy Fresh, that's a really good brand, but that's not cheap either. And it's because it's really good material, but it's not cheap. It's untelling what else she spends her money on. Why didn't ALR buy you a van? Because she really damages sedans. Honestly, my shocks were in horrible shape, my nephew said, whenever I had to get my car fixed.
At this point, in my opinion, the situation is so bad, I believe that even if Amberlynn did pay back the $6,000, the situation would not change. Amber, your audience is permanently disappointed in how you treat other people and even making it right. Do I think that she should pay back? Yes. But, will that change the way people see and view Amber's behavior in the future? No. Yes, definitely pay back. Will that do anything positive for you, like as far as your audience is concerned? No. People are committed to knowing exactly who you are.
That was one of the things that I had to replace, was all the shocks. Beck, have you heard of the infamous Snapchat story Jade allegedly posted the night she left ALR in Oklahoma? It said, "I'm single ASF finally," or something like that. Iconic. That's really cool. I didn't know that. But I did hear that Jade was like, she got Amber to Oklahoma as quickly as possible and dropped her off and never spoke to her or anything ever again. And I just thought that was so funny. Much were you forced to sleep on Pillow Mountain? Pillow Mountain was something else, you guys. The bed would slide on the floor every day, and she would end up between the wall and the bed. So she would have to get off the bed, and I would have to take all of the pillows off, which were like 20 plus pillows. I have to take them all off, push the bed back, and put everything back. And that would happen more than once in a day. And it was really annoying. And the bed was really, really heavy.
What was really amazing to me is that in Amberlynn's live stream, Amber said that the only thing that Beck did for her was get her like a bucket of water like twice for like an in-bed shower, riveting, and wipe her for 9 months only. Like, girl, ain't nobody out here want to wipe you, all right? Moving on. But even if you just believe that, that's bad enough, okay? But why don't you mention how Beck drove you everywhere, took you everywhere, waited for you everywhere, bought you McDonald's, and even had to redo your bed multiple times a day? I have to tell you something. I have heard so many bad stories that I'm not going to share with you today here, but I've never heard any story as bad as Amber and Beck. At the end of the day, Amberlynn, you should be humiliated and embarrassed. Not even about the things that you forced Beck to do, but the audacity of you to come on the internet and pretend that they only gave you a bucket a few times and wiped you for 9 months. What about the fact that they were your full-term caretaker? Oh, and by the way, I understand Beck was talking about the car. Amber was like in her live stream, well, I bought Beck a car. Yeah, so they could like take you everywhere and do everything for you. Like, at some point, Amber has to understand, which she won't, that money doesn't always equal to being more important or of more value than aid and help from other people, without who you would not be here today.
Panera actually give her the wrong sandwich. Honestly, I don't remember 100%, but probably not. She probably ordered what she got and just didn't want people to know. I think honestly she just left it in that apartment, because the bed that got the bed was also left in the apartment. Oh my god, there's something else that happened that I'm not talked to you guys about. I might save it, but there was another reason why we had to leave a bed frame
So I already talked about this in my other video, but when Amberlynn heard this, she was like, I need to beat Beck to the punch. I'm gonna say it. Oh, I have all the tea. I'm gonna spill it. And so she went on her live stream and Amberlynn referenced this moment in her public live stream, breaking my silence, and said, oh yeah, I had bed bugs and they bit Beck, but they would never bite me. Again, I'm going to say this one more time, Amberlynn. Basic Google search will show you that some people are allergic to the bites and some people have more sensitivity. Bed bugs will bite whoever. It's just that not everyone will have the obvious bite marks on their skin. Much like with your ex-girlfriends, you don't want to do a Google search, right, Ambi? Can I call you Pookie? But that's not what this point is about. It's not the bed bugs that matter, to me at least. It's the fact that Amberlynn heard that in Beck's live stream and was like, I need to tell everyone before Beck does so they don't get as many views and they don't get anything. Honestly, Amber, get some help. I mean, you're trying to one-up your ex, who you owe thousands of dollars to, not just for the inheritance, but all the live streams that they did with you that you wouldn't pay them for, even though you publicly and privately hired them. Like, just think about it. You owe them a lot of money. Why are you trying to one-up them so they get less money if they make a video? Like, this type of behavior, when Amber was like, well, I'm gonna expose what Beck was gonna say. This is why your audience and you will never have a good relationship. That moment right there, Amberlynn, is why your audience will not trust you and why you cannot rebuild your relationship with your audience.
The Amber J dynamic from spending time with them. What was she like? Could you tell ALR had already been lying to Jade? I didn't just spend a whole lot of time with them, but from what I saw of Jade was really kind of quiet and soft-spoken and very private. So I couldn't get a very good read on her, like what kind of person she really was. She was just very reserved. And I'm like, well, that's very weird contrast compared to Amber, because Amber, is loud and in your face and very public, and, Wifey was very not that. So, that there was one doctor we went to that was like a weight loss doctor, and she didn't like what he had to say, so of course she gave up on that. The cancer doctors were, that was very short. Like, she had her surgery that night at the hospital, and then we ended up having to move to Lexington because she was having a different surgery up there. But then after she had that surgery, nothing else happened. She didn't have to get treatment or anything like that. So, I don't exactly remember a whole lot about her doctor appointments. Anything else? We definitely ate things separately because we liked different foods. I did not like her taste in food at all.
So just like as long as you weren't eating her food.
Yeah, just as long as I wasn't eating on her food.
Does anyone remember how Amberlynn threw out perfectly good cheese? How we all feel about cheese here. And, Kermit loves cheese. But remember when Amberlynn threw out that cheese because she thought it was open, but meanwhile you meet strangers and you invite them into your home? Like, make it make sense, Ambi. I don't know. Honestly, I just feel like, who cares about this whole cheese food thing? I feel like, thank God, thank Kermit, thank whoever you believe in, that Beck got away from Amberlynn, because what Beck had to go through, I don't think I'd be able to go through that. Would y'all be able to go through that for 4 years?
And I think at that time, too, she was mad at me because we were supposed to be eating better. But I just wanted some cereal, and I was hungry, and it was there. And I didn't want to waste it. We already had it. So, and she was just like pretty upset at me for it. But I'm just like, it doesn't matter. You're going to fail tonight anyway. You always do.
That's Beck discussing the infamous food aggression clip on, I believe it was on Eric's channel, where pretty much Beck dared to have some cereal because that's what they wanted, to have some cereal. Like, y'all ever want to have some cereal? You need somebody being like, you cannot have this cereal because you promised me. Who cares? Basically, the whole food aggression situation was that they had agreed, Beck and Amber had agreed to do a diet, whatever, and Beck wanted some cereal and Amber wasn't having that. Amber, why don't you mind your own business and do what's best for you?
Yeah, the Cocoa Puffs thing was pretty ridiculous, so you guys, but I've got some stuff that I'm holding on to just in case.
Are
You know, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. Waffle stump. I'm not confirming it, but I'm also not denying it because I honestly don't know if it happened. I just heard somebody say that she admitted to it. Did Jade cut off the caregiver stuff with Amber? I always got the impression that Jade forced her to move to be more active and independent, hence why she kept falling and getting hurt. You know, I feel like Jade probably was trying to force her to be more active and stuff, but I don't know about the caregiver stuff. Like, I don't know about anything that could have been going on behind the scenes, honestly.
My personal opinion is that not everyone that Amberlynn dated would be a caretaker to her. For example, it is my opinion that Wifey and Tommy would never be her caretaker, and I suspect she knows that very well, which is also like just there's so many listen. There's so many things that happened that you could publicly search on Google, for example, during certain relationships that she had, which indicate that these people are just very, very, very like strong-minded people and people that would not take her nonsense, Amber's nonsense, and they would not be her full-time caretaker. And that's also one of the reasons that I think that she isn't like, you don't really hear Amber saying a lot about Tommy or Wifey. I think because she understands that they have completely different personality types and they're not going to take her nonsense. Both of them, Tommy and Wifey.
Thank you so much. Do you think ALR didn't like when you visited your family because she didn't have her own family and was jealous? Definitely. She did admit that to me a few times. She said that it was painful for her to be around my family because it was such a reminder that she didn't have one. Quick, did you really have to move out of the gay care house because it was being sold, or were tensions at all-time high between everyone and it was time to move on? Tensions weren't high between everybody at that point in time. It's just Amber wanted to move out and get her own place, and we were at a spot where we could do that. And I didn't necessarily want to move as far away as we did.
My opinion on this is that Amber wanted to be in the city, to be around certain places, and definitely 100%. I'm 100 on this opinion. In my opinion, she definitely wanted to get Beck away from their family, as far away as possible from their family.
But we ended up doing that, and she talked me into it because, you know, that's where her cancer doctor was. But, Eric and Rickie had been talking about buying a house for a really long time as well. So, but yeah, the landlord did end up selling that property as well. So, what's the best thing you took away from relationship? I guess I really learned my limit at what I was allowing myself to be treated. Like, how I was allowing myself to be treated. Like, I think I took away from it that I deserved better.
I think that every single person currently in a bad, unhealthy, toxic, just ridiculous relationship that you know is not right for you deserves better. I'm going to ask you this one question about whatever relationship you're in currently. Answer it to yourself. Does the person that you're with, do they think of you often? Are you on their mind, and do they show that? Do they do things for you to make your life better and to make both of your relationships better? Are they trying to uplift you, or are they only concerned with themselves? At the end of the day, you have to understand that just because you believe that you're in a relationship and nobody, like, a lot of people believe this stuff, and this is really, really, really bad to believe, but unfortunately a lot of people have like certain types of self-esteem where they believe like, oh, if I get out of this bad relationship, who will be with me, blah 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 blah. Not them mistreating you. Anybody will be better than them. Just always remember that everybody is worthy of being with somebody who treats them well, and how y'all deserve to be treated.
Because before that, I didn't think I did. And then after everything that happened and I came out of it, I'm like, you know, I do realize that I deserved better than that. We did a lot of takeout with ALR. Yes, we did. A lot of takeout. A lot of Cheesecake Factory. The thing, we did not know the truth. We only knew Amber's side. We had no idea what kind of person Casey was. And it was right in the beginning of our relationship anyway. So it was really unfair for her to put all this on me and then be like, well, it happened. And you have to believe me because I'm your, your girlfriend or whatever.
I just don't understand how Amberlynn can hold her head high on her channel and make the statement that I stand by my accusations against Casey when she herself went and deleted her video and then came back on the internet and said I used a wrong word. What she accused Casey of is something that you could never use the wrong word for. Rain and Petals eavesdrop, okay? So the audacity to come on your channel, Amberlynn, live and say, oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with Casey. Yeah, that's because you don't want to go back to what you did, which is accuse an individual who was not a public figure at the time at all of something that you then Amberlynn came and said this didn't happen, something else happened. Amber, honestly, one day, that day is coming, you're going to come across a person that is going to take you to court.
But, I mean, after we got out of the relationship with her, me and Destiny both, we realized what kind of person she was. And, the things that she was capable of doing to us. Yeah, she was totally capable of doing that to Casey. And I do believe Casey. So, while I believed Amber back then, I no longer do. Full-heartedly believe Casey. Explain that to me, how she's saying the inheritance story is not true. But last week she was saying, she laughed and was like, oh, we just have a different opinion. What does that even mean? We have a different opinion. I got that money. You said you owe me this money for everything I've ever done for you. And she made me feel like crap about it. So I gave her that money. And she wants to say, well, we bought that bed. That bed was bought before I even got that check. And then she said, well, we went to Gatlinburg. Me and my family and her all only had to split $160 for this cabin.
Bottom line with the inheritance money, Amberlynn demanded the $6,000 that was supposed to be, Beck's mom's, and then Beck got it after, her mom's untimely passing. And Amber's like, well, I paid for your stuff after you demanded to, Amber, after you encouraged Beck to quit their job. Well, you owe me this money because, I paid for you. Amber, do you understand that that wasn't your money? And when you choose to pay for a partner and them be your caretaker in exchange, that is not your money, Amber. Disgraceful.
And we went to Paula Deen's to eat. We went to a Christmas store. And then we went to Walmart. Me and Amber did while my family went and did sightseeing. We went to Walmart and then we went right back to the cabin. And that was our Gatlinburg trip. So that definitely wasn't $6,000 Gatlinburg trip. And that bed definitely wasn't from my settlement money. And also another thing about that bed is whenever I was in the store, she stood up front at the desk while I walked around with the salesperson, and I was asking, what's good for people who are bigger.
Amber always does this. She doesn't tell her audience the truth. Like, is the truth in the room with us? When Amberlynn went on her live stream and discussed this, she said that Beck picked out a $6,000 bed and that was it, and Amber had to pay for it because Beck wanted it. Amber, why didn't you tell us that you didn't even spend time with the salesperson and Beck did, and Beck went all around the store and you did nothing? Why didn't you tell us that the bed that Beck picked out for you was picked out for your needs and your issues, and you were having a surgery soon? So Beck actually picked out a bed that they believed was best for you. Why did you leave that out, Amber?
What's going to be sturdy, what's going to be comfortable. And that's the bed that they recommended. And I was like, well, I want it to be good for her. I want it to be sturdy for her. I want it to, she's also having surgery. And it was one of those beds that would raise up and stuff and massage. So I was like, this is going to be a good bed for her. And I mean, I didn't know how much it was going to cost until we were up there paying for it. The bank account. It was my bank account first that I opened by myself in 2015. She was too lazy to go get a bank account of her own. So she opened a private account within my account. And only she had access to that private account. Only she knew how much money was in that private account. And the only time I had access to that particular debit card was whenever she would give it to me and tell me what she needed me to go get for her. And that is how that went. Another thing, if I had access to that money, I wanted to put it back. She, however, wouldn't let me put it back. There was also a point in time whenever she wouldn't let me save up change because she would say, so is that your fund to leave me?
So I know a lot of you were wondering, like, how did Amber just write herself into Beck's account? Basically, Amberlynn created an account, like, within, I know what Beck is talking about. You can create an account, like, sort of like with the other person, like it's your own account, but it's, the bottom line is, Amber, why were you too lazy to go out and get your own bank account? And like I said before, Amberlynn said in her public live stream that she had no idea what was going on with the money. And Amber, just because you could have sent somebody a text one time and been like, oh yeah, how much is in the bank account? That doesn't mean you didn't know how much was in the bank account. Amber, sweetheart, how did you pay your taxes? How did you know for the billionth time that you had enough in your bank account to pay your taxes? She knew everything that was going on in her bank account. Trust that.
So I knew better than when she was saying, I didn't take that inheritance money from her when she did, because she knew that if I had access to that money, I had a greater chance of leaving her. And I would have used that money to leave her. So I guess it's a good thing she did take it for her, because I didn't leave her for another year or so. And if I would have had that money, then I wouldn't have been hurting so bad when I did move out and crying over not having enough money for a U-Haul and stuff, because I would have had that $6,000 to fall back on, but I didn't. She never wanted me to get a job because she couldn't take care of herself long enough for me to have an 8-hour shift away from her. Also, there was the point of her not being able to trust me having a job because of, not to throw Destiny under the bus, but she said that she had, from what happened with Destiny. And
yeah, for those of you that don't know, Destiny definitely met somebody at work and dumped Ambi for somebody at work, but that's not the point. The point is that, listen to what I'm going to tell you right now. Amberlynn, if you didn't watch my videos on it, other people's videos on it, if you didn't watch Amber's live stream, Amber said in her live stream that she was demanding that Beck get a job. And Beck is telling you that Amberlynn did not want Beck to get a job. I believe Beck, not just because Beck doesn't have a history of lying like Amber does, but because it's common sense. Beck was Amber's caretaker. If Beck got a job, who would do all the lavatory duties?
Dana, she was scared that that would happen again. And the Uber thing, I did it way more times than just twice. I even did it whenever I moved out and lived on my own. I still did Uber. And I had a really good time doing Uber. It was fun. I would just ride around listening to my music, delivering food. And it was time away from her. So, I did want to get a job. I wanted money of my own because I was tired of her holding it over my head. But she always told me that she enjoyed being the main breadwinner because it made her feel good about herself. But I'm thinking you wanted to be the main breadwinner because you have all the control. I really wanted to hang on to that money, and I wanted to have it in case I needed it, or, do something to honor my mom, because my mom was supposed to get that money, and it was going to be a good chunk of money, and she had a lot of important plans that she was going to do with it. But she passed away, and she obviously couldn't do it, so it got split between me and my sisters. It's just Amber demanded me give it to her because I owed her for everything over the years. There was one time she did help my mom pay for a vet bill, but the cat wing, and my mom was broke, and I'm like, that was more or less my choice. I was like, Amber, we are going to pay for this cat because it was my mom's baby, and she just couldn't afford it at the time. And it's like, well, if I am your employee, then I have some say So it wasn't her being out of the kindness of her heart to pay for the vet bill. That was me. Like, you know, when she would do these things, it always came with a price to pay. Because if you did anything to upset her, then she would hold it over your head. Well, look at all of these things that I did for you. And that's why a lot of people stopped for, you know, taking things from her. Like Eric and Rickie, they wouldn't let her buy stuff for them or buy their food or anything because they knew if they did, she would hold it over their head. My family stopped allowing her to do stuff for them, like her trying to be nice or anything. They would just be like, no, it's okay, don't worry about it. Because they knew she would throw it in their face later on.
Beck is saying about how like everybody around Amber wouldn't take her money eventually because they knew that she would hold it over their head. So you already are showing that that is true, Amber. You brought up somebody's deceased cat years after they were deceased in your live stream. Why did you do that, Amber? So Beck had to talk you into paying, you know, giving some type of aid to her mom's cat, and you still are bringing it up. Look, the bottom line is you financially mistreated them. And it's just a disgrace by stealing their deceased parents' money. It's a disgrace. Thoughts, comments, questions, please let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments down below. Please go subscribe to Beck. I will link their channel down below as well. Thank you all so very much for watching today. I think what we've learned is that, yet again, Amber lies. All right, there's a video popping up here on a similar topic. Go and check that out if you like. Let me know what you think about this video and the dislikes, and I will see you next time. Bye.